All right, so welcome to the MacroMay workshop. I'm so excited that you're here. I'm going to show you some of my best practices with using MacroMay and things that have been helpful for me so that you can see some tips and tricks that can make it easier for you and simplify the process for you. It's very easy for someone to say, oh, just use AI to help you with your meal planning. But if you don't know some of the little secrets and the little ways of making it work for you, then you oftentimes just get these cookie cutter plans that won't really work well in your life. Or maybe it's got like a million ingredients and that's not the kind of cooking that works for you and your family. So I'm just going to show you the shortcuts and the best practices that I use. I'm going to show you some things that you can do that you might not know that you can do. Um, and we'll just go ahead and start diving in. So first, I want to share my screen and show you um, the most important place to start. So this personalized worksheet that I have in the portal for you to be able to use, that is so important to start with. This is where you can put in all these details about things that you can feed to MacroMay so she can know more about you, know more about your family, know more about your preferences, things you like, things you don't like, things your kids like, things your kids don't like, so that things can be more tailored to you. Without doing this process, you are going to get some boring meal plans, and they're not going to be so customized and so specifically tailored to you. So I'm going to show you mine. Um, Now, the cool thing is that I had already filled this out originally, but then I've been using MacroMay for a while now to help me out. And I just actually asked her to update this worksheet today with things that we've been talking about. So I said to her, can you answer these questions for me based on everything that we've talked about so far? And she refilled these out. So, like the about you, my primary goal, a little bit of weight loss for right now. I'm just trying to lose a tiny bit. Um, Activity level, we put that in. Any dietary restrictions. So this is where I put in, I would prefer to have gluten-free just because pasta and stuff always makes me feel bloated. My daughter loves pasta though. So we make sure to always have that like for her. And you can see like I want high protein meals, mix of veggies, fresh, cooked, whatever, and avoid tree nuts because I got some weird, yes, allergy, not allergy, I don't know. And then the goals section. Me personally, I like to have a big dinner. I don't care that much about breakfast and lunch, so I let her know, you know, would rather have a big dinner. Just, spell out exactly what you want. Some of my challenges, I just need some quick things that are easy to help me stay in a calorie deficit while still making food for Tatiana and Douglas and being budget conscious. So my meals are tailored to being a little more budget conscious. Then in here, we talk about family preferences, and this is where I've put in like me and my daughter Tatiana, which Douglas is missing from here, but sometimes Douglas. Um, he doesn't always get a chance to eat dinner with us, so make sure he's in there. But he's picky, so I actually have notes down here. Douglas doesn't like the smell of curry, anything with too much spices, he thinks is disgusting. And so I have to make sure that if I want to do those types of meals, because I like it, I need to plan them when he's like not going to be around. But down here you can see like things that my family loves. We love steak, chicken thighs. These are all like the cuts of protein that I commonly get. So it can help tailor the meals to things I already like. I almost always have rice on hand. Love potatoes, tortillas, all the different vegetables that I often use. So it knows and the flavors of meals that I typically like to eat. That's all in here. The more info that you put in here with your preferences, the better outputs that MacroMay will give you, which is so cool. Let's go down, 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 down. Okay. So more of like the same kind of things that I enjoy. Love using my air fryer. So anything that's gonna be tailored to incorporate in the air fryer, that's gonna be recipes that it's gonna give me. It's just easy and easy to clean up. And then you can see like more details. She's updated what I had put in. I probably had shorter answers and I talk to her as I'm adjusting the meal plan. So these are outputs that she's given me back. I like to cook most nights. I like having leftovers. So you can see like I am okay with one dinner and then having the same dinner the next night, or a dinner and then using that for leftovers or lunches. So I don't need to have seven different dinners, seven different lunches. If you need that, then you would want to put in there that you need that variety, or at least you need to change up the flavors of them. If you're going to use chicken across the week, but you want to have like an Asian style chicken one night, fajita chicken another night, just so that you can get a variation. But you'd put all this in your preferences. And like I said, more details, the better. Take time to fill this out, you know? And you can constantly be updating it. And then like some additional notes. Me personally, I have a hard time with the late night snacking, so it's just funny that she added that. I don't remember telling her that, but I probably did somewhere. Um, yeah, just having some back. I always have backup meals like turkey burgers in the freezer, so we use those as bonus meals for if I need to change things around or something's not thawed out. Turkey burgers are my fallback. So those are just notes. Those are my personal notes that I would plug right into MacroMay. Now, if you're trying to figure out how to do that, it's as simple as just copying and pasting it. Um, this part right here, I'm going to give you a info to help meal plan. This is like instructions that she's going to listen, she's going to read. And I told her no need to do anything with this info yet. So she'll just take it and she'll store it as like a memory, and then we'll know to reference this. So you just would copy all this, copy it, whatever, the whole thing, copy it, and then go over to your little MacroMay tab, or if you haven't opened MacroMay, go into Podia, pull up that link, and it'll bring you into ChatGPT with the MacroMay bot up there. And then you just copy and paste it. So that was just an example you could see. And you'd hit enter and send it off, and she'd be like, okay, cool. I'm not going to do that now because I don't want to mess up my bot. She's doing so good. She's working really well for me right now. But first and foremost is filling out this personalized sheet that I gave you guys, and keeping it on hand. Something I would really make sure to do is every so often asking MacroMay herself to help update your questions so that it can give you more and more details. Because if something weird happens, you lose your account, you need to reopen a new MacroMay. A new MacroMay is not going to remember your old information. So over here, this little tab where I say my MacroMay and I labeled her with a little robot, this one knows everything. So this is the chat that I come back to ask all my questions and do all my meal planning with. If I was to go open a new MacroMay, she's not going to know anything about me at all until I feed her that personalized sheet, and then you go from there. So that's something to remember. I would always keep this personalized sheet updated periodically, save it somewhere so you can reference and be able to copy it over if you need to. If you lose your account or something weird, or I don't know, just to or accidentally delete this somehow, and then you're like having to like retell it everything all over again and relearn like your preferences. So just make sure to be filling that out periodically and keep it saved somewhere safe. All right, so that was the first thing I definitely want to make sure I covered. Now, let's go into some like cool things that you can do with MacroMay. One thing that I like to do is go to, I'm going to show you like a order because I often order on Walmart. So I pulled up an order from like a couple weeks ago of things that I got. And I will open it up. And if you're on your computer, this is so easy. But you can look through and you can be like, oh, look at all this stuff that I like. But you see, I have some things that are like pre-prepared veggies, not like start from scratch to make these. You can copy these, okay, and highlight it all. I don't need milk, that's Tatiana's favorite. Copy these, then jump over to your macrame and be like, hey, I love these foods. Can we incorporate? Oh my gosh, I'm coughing. And I usually talk to her, so sorry about my typing. Incorporate some of these in meal planning. And then I do like a space so that it's like kind of clear. She can read through all this and just send it off. She probably already knows I like these things. And then she'll analyze it and she'll be like, okay, cool. We're gonna make sure we incorporate these veggies. No, she's trying to incorporate them into my current meal plan, but that's okay because I don't, I'm going to be making a new one soon anyways. But you can see, let's find examples. Here's veggies. She's given me this skirt steak with jasmine rice and the Asian veggies. So here we would know that we were going to use this bird's eye Asian mix that I have over here, this one, and we're going to incorporate that. So there's a little shortcut. You don't have to be cutting all the vegetables and stuff. You're going to get some skirt steak, you're going to get the rice, you're going to use these veggies, and if you have to add some more seasonings, soy sauce, garlic, ginger, sesame oil, probably would incorporate that into the steak marinade. Add a little bit of stuff to the rice, and then pair it with the veggies, maybe stir fry the veggies with the rice. You know, this is how you can get some ideas, but you can use some shortcuts with some prepackaged foods so you don't feel like you're having to make everything from scratch. The point of using macrame is to save time and energy. So anywhere that you can find little shortcuts, it's going to be really helpful. So I like to reference things that I already like and use frequently. These cauliflower mashed potatoes that you can get, they're another Bird's Eye brand. These are so good to just throw in as a side veggie. Let's see where she put it because she probably threw it in here. Okay, so she's showing this fish dish that I could do with the mashed cauliflower and some green beans. Probably I wouldn't do this, but this mashed cauliflower would be good with the lamb. You know, you can interchange things. And the cool part is like, okay, if you don't like her outputs, tell her and say, for this, can we change this? For this, can we change this? Talk to it like it's your assistant and you are the boss. And then still say please and thank you. You know, when the robots rule the world, you said please and thank you. But you can see how in these meal plans, she incorporated some of these things like the Brussels sprouts that I already have cut. So let's just pretend I loved this meal plan. And I'd be like, okay, let's make a grocery list to feed me, Tot, and Douglas. So then she should incorporate those already prepared things in there. So she knows because I've told her about the fish, the lamb. I already have these in my freezer. They're waiting. I have turkey burgers as backup. So that's super cool. So I know that I don't need to worry about those because I already have them on hand because I told her previously that I already have these. We do need to get skirt steak. And then here you go. Bird's eye stuff. She knows that I bought this recently, so that's why she's saying you already have these. Um, but you can see all of these things incorporated from my order list. So she's assuming that I already have them because I've told her that I got that stuff. And then down here you can see like jasmine rice. I'm stocked on that. If I wanted to get some tortillas, I probably need tortillas because these are some things that are missing from what I've told her that I already have. And this is cute down here, pantry condiments. Check if you have these, which recently I just got these for my meal plan. So that's, she doesn't know that yet. But it's pretty cool. You can take things from your old grocery lists and be like, these are some of our favorite things that we like to have commonly, and put it in there. You can say if you want to use them. You can say if you want to save for future reference. Ideally, you could copy and paste all of this onto this personalized sheet. What I would also do is if you have recipes that you absolutely love already or meals that are in your frequent rotation, I'd probably make another section down here and just be like, my go-to recipes, and then, list them all out here. And you can either copy and paste all of this, or you can also like download the sheet and then upload it into MacroMay on your phone, on the computer. Copy and pasting is really easy when you're on the computer. Um, and you can also do screenshots on your phone of things and then upload it in there as well. So, not necessarily, it's similar to this, but you could upload right here and then be like, hey, this is some stuff that I like, whatever, and then send it in. Now, recipes, like I was saying, that you maybe like, or you were like randomly on Facebook or Instagram and you saw a recipe that you liked. I'm just going to use this one as an example. You could be like, ooh, I want this to be in a rotation somewhere, this red curry salmon. Now, I couldn't make this if Douglas was around because he wouldn't like the smell. But what I would do is I would either screenshot it and upload it and then say to put it into my rotation somewhere, or literally just scroll, copy it, and be like, this sounds like a great recipe. Can we save it for future? And I always do these, I don't know, I just do these little spaces, copy, paste it in there, and then things don't have to be organized for her. She can filter through it. And then here she goes. She's saying, officially saved for future meal planning, locking it in. It's great protein. Pairs perfectly with the jasmine rice that I often use, and gives you some like little things like you could pair this with this and blah blah blah. So if I was doing some meal planning and asking her for recipes for next week or something, she could reference this one. I often, when I find a recipe that I've done with her, I'll save it and I'll say in the chat, can you add this to my go-to recipe bank? And she probably is saying, like, let me tell her, add this to my go-to recipe bank. Because she remembers everything. Now, what I probably will do pretty soon is ask her to give me my recipe bank recipes, and I'm going to copy and put those onto this personalized sheet. But I just thought about doing that. But I don't want to do that right now. But anyways, she said, here you go. It's been added to your go-to recipe bank. So as you build your bank of go-to recipes and things that you know are winners with your family, it helps make the meal planning easier because you have some meals that you know you love, you know how to adjust them for your family, and it makes planning like simplified. If you have like more complicated recipes, I wouldn't recommend trying to do like too many in the week if you don't have the time for it. I'd try to find ways to simplify. The dinner that I just actually had tonight was some lamb chops, green beans and red potatoes. I'm gonna just scroll up and find when she was talking about it for you. Do, 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 do. See, that's when I was asking her to adjust my stuff. Okay, so here is garlic, herb, marinated lamb chops with the red potatoes and green beans. And we marinated the lamb chops in garlic, rosemary, thyme, some lemon juice, Dijon, olive oil. And then I like used some of this stuff to toss with the potatoes and season the green beans. And this was such a good meal. So I'm actually going to tell her right now that I made the lamb chops today and loved them. This whole meal was a hit. And normally I'm speaking in my phone to her, so it's easier. I want to save this to use in the future. And then I'm actually going to tell her, like, this is what I did with the potatoes, this is what I did with the green beans, and everything came out so good. And then she'll save it. But I'm just going to do this for now so that I don't have to be typing all over the screen for you guys. So she's locking that in as a go-to recipe for the future. And it was really good. Like, so good. I did the lamb chops in a pan, and then I put the potatoes in the air fryer. They were going at the same time. The green beans were actually, are they on this order? Yeah, there they are. They were these steamable green beans. And then I just tossed them in seasonings, using some of the same seasoning from the steak, using some of the same seasonings I put on the potatoes. Really good. But you can see this is frozen green beans. So really, I cut the potatoes, washed them, tossed them in a little bit of olive oil, put them in the air fryer, cooked the lamb chops on the stove. The potatoes were cooking, green beans were in the microwave, and then just seasoned and then kind of plated it. It was a very fast meal. It did not take very much time. I let it marinate I made the marinade in the morning and I cooked this just a couple hours ago, so didn't even marinate more than a day. And it was like so good. But it was a very simple meal, which is why I would keep it as an ongoing recipe. Okay, so I showed you how you can actually steal the recipes that you like and put it in there for her to remember to help with your meal planning. You can take pictures of these and upload it directly, or you can do what I, copy paste and put it in. You can go through grocery lists that you've done in the past and let it know that these are foods that you like to get, you typically get on your orders, and that can help you plan. And then when she gives you meal plans, she can tell you, like, okay, make sure you get the Brussels sprouts, make sure you get the green beans, make sure you get the bird's eye cauliflower, make sure you get this Mediterranean blend. So these are some different things. Doesn't always have to be, you know, I'm gonna cut up all the broccoli. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. So you can just see, like, that's more stuff is dangerous. But that was that order. It was a lot of vegetables because I already had a lot of meat on hand and just some snacks for Tatiana that were sprinkled in there too. So that's like a really cool thing that you can do. Um, Let me just make sure that I'm covering everything that I want to talk about with you guys today. Let's do a live demo of like prepping like next week for me. Because I showed you how to do grocery. You can copy over your grocery list so it can know some of your preferred brands. You can show it your favorite things. You can keep things simple. You don't have to cook everything from scratch. You can go even more detailed and tell her, like, can you help me step by step with prepping this? Which is really fun. Uploading recipes you already love. That personalized sheet is your go-to to copy paste into MacroMay. Keep updating that. Keep adding things that you like. Keep adding things that you don't like. Be like, avoid this. I don't ever want to do this. Um, and then let's see what else. I want to make sure that I give you guys everything I can think of for this workshop. Okay, I will just give you like a quick demo of planning out. I'll just pretend I'm planning out my next couple of days. And I'm going to pull up on my phone and talk to it so I don't have to type it on the screen. And I'll show you it just automatically updates. Okay, so this is how I talk to it. I'll go into the app and there's a little button to talk to it and it will record your voice, make it into text. You hit send and then she'll respond to you. So I want to plan out my next 3 days of dinners. In my freezer, I have the barramundi, I have turkey burgers, I still have some skirt steak, and I want to plan out 3 dinner meals with those. I have tons of jasmine rice on hand. I have broccoli, I have carrots, I have grapes, I have tomatoes, I have spinach, I have potatoes, and I'm out of tortillas now. And so I'm just telling her things that I have, things that I don't have, so she can help plan. And we can see if, oh, I also have Brussels sprouts that I haven't used and the Asian veggie mix as well and mashed cauliflower. Okay, so I've told her all of this and I'm going to see what she puts out. Puts out. So right now, she's currently doing everything, and I'll pull it up on the screen once she finishes spitting out the meal plan idea so you guys can see. Perfect. Let's refresh, and then everything should pop up on here for you to be able to see, like pretty instantly. All right, so this is what she gave me. 3-day meal plan using what you have. So we've got the fish with mashed cauliflower, roasted Brussels sprouts. We've got skirt steak with jasmine rice and the Asian veggies. Turkey burgers with some roasted potatoes, sauteed spinach. Meh, I don't really want to do that. So, if you don't like it, you're like, I don't like it. So then I would just talk to her and be like, well, I like the fish and I like the Brussels sprouts, but I'm not sure I want to do mashed cauliflower with it. Maybe we do something else for that one. Um, I do have cilantro in the fridge. I just remembered. So maybe we can change that meal. And then I like the skirt steak. We can leave that one alone. And then the turkey burgers with the roasted potatoes. I don't want to do sauteed spinach. Um, let's change that. And then I'm going to input that. So I just talk to it like it's a conversation. Talk to it like it's an assistant. You're like running the ideas by her. And then she's going to update things. She doesn't care if you don't like what she put. So don't worry. Let's see, it's almost done. I'm going to refresh my screen and let you see what she updated. Okay, here we go. So I like this better. Cilantro lime with roasted Brussels sprouts and jasmine rice. That looks good. I'd rather eat that. And Tatiana likes fish. She likes rice. She will not eat those Brussels sprouts, so I have to find something else for her, veggie wise. But I have shredded cabbage, and she likes to eat that like chips. And then the skirt steak we didn't mess with because we already liked that. I have jasmine rice in one meal. I'll make extra for jasmine rice for this other meal. And the turkey burgers with roasted potatoes, carrot sticks with ranch. I'm not gonna eat the carrots with the ranch. I'll eat the carrots just fine. Um, but you can see like turkey burgers, roasted potatoes. That would be like fallback meal. But the first two I really like. So I probably utilize those, and I know I have enough fish for at least 2 nights. I have enough steak for only one night. Um, and then I have a ton of turkey burgers. So if I wanted to, I have turkey meatballs in the freezer. I could change that out and do something totally different. Um, Now, these outputs are not showing how to customize for Tatiana, but I can ask it, can you show me some modifications for, ignore my typing for Tatiana. She will eat the rice. Um, Not Brussels sprouts. And let's just see what it says. Because it already knows things that Tatiana likes. So you can see like it's showing with the fish, do like a small portion of it, let her try it. If she doesn't like it, have a backup protein. I will. That's where the chicken nuggets fall in if she if we have to. I try to keep those on hand just in case. But she'll probably eat the fish because she seems to like fish, just not shrimp. The skirt steak, showing cut into pieces. She'll have no problem eating the steak and the rice. We just need to find some raw veggies, and they're recommending like cucumbers, carrot sticks. Tatiana doesn't like carrots anymore all of a sudden, so we're gonna have to get rid of that. Um, and you can just see how it's telling you to modify for Tatiana. She'll eat these potatoes, she'll eat the turkey burger plain. She doesn't want the burger patty, or she doesn't want the bread. Um, it's funny, you figure out what your kids like and what they don't like, and you can customize things. But I can make all these meals and do some slight little tweaks to make it so that everybody will eat it. So, like I said, with your personalized worksheet, write out. I mean, and if you don't want to use their names, you can be like kid one, kid two, kid three. I don't care. So I'm going to use Tatiana because it's more fun to feel like it's planning this for me, planning this for Douglas, planning this for Tatiana. And it feels like it's my assistant. So that's some cool things you can do to modify. I would, right now, if I was doing this on my own, I'd be like, Tatiana doesn't like carrots anymore, so we have to scrap that. What else do you think I could do? And you could go from there. So that's just like some real life practicing with meal planning. Now, let's say we want to make this one. You don't have to copy and paste the referencing this recipe, but I'm just going to do it so I don't have to type as much. For this recipe, can you help me make it now? And then I paste it in the recipe so that it will give me like step-by-step prep instructions. We're gonna need more fish for me and Douglas and Tatiana, but I will tell it that. But here you can see all the ingredients that you need and how it's telling you to make sure that the fish is defrosted if it's frozen. And then your step by step for cooking it. Now, I would not be putting it in the oven. I'm an air fryer queen, so that's where that's gonna go. The rice, fine. What else are we having with this? Brussels sprouts. Oh, well, the Brussels sprouts need to go in the air fryer. But I will tell you that these Dang Brussels sprouts. I need to keep an eye on them because I overcooked them a little bit last time. So I will not be letting that go long. But here it is telling you how to prep everything. You can start with the Brussels sprouts. They're saying they're going to take the longest. You can throw them in the oven, olive oil, salt, pepper. And we can drizzle with some balsamic glaze when they come out later. Cooking the rice, that's going to, I probably start the rice while the oven's preheated and then, go for the Brussels sprouts. But have the rice started because I like to let the rice sit for a little bit before I eat it. And then probably when the rice is done, fish cooks very quick. I'd probably do the fish very last while the rice is kind of poofing up afterwards. But okay, cool. So you can see it's giving you like instructions to help you cook, prepare your meal. So if you need that, you can. Now, let's go a little bit further because I know a lot of people who are watching this are trying to hit certain goals. I want to say, okay, my portion, what should my portion look like to help me stay in? And then now she's spitting out like what your portion could look like. Now, I can tell you right now that AI is not perfect with your calorie counts, so you have to be aware of that. Um, it's not going to know exactly like your oils and things. I would always buffer in oil just to be on the safe side, and add a little bit more than just to give you a cushion if things are a little off. But she's helping me make sure that my dinner portions look pretty good. So do like a half a cup of rice, 4 to 5 ounces of the fish, and 1 to 1.5 cups of Brussels sprouts. And that would be good for my specific goals. I can say, like, what would be the approximate calorie count and macros? Oops. For this. And you could use this as a rough estimate, but they're not exactly perfect. So it doesn't know, like, if you have salmon, if it's wild, if it's this, if it's that. So it's not perfect, but at least it can give you like a slight idea. For those who don't want to fully track their meals and be as precise, this can give you like just some guidance so you can kind of know that that meal would come around 415 calories and give you 34 grams of protein, which is awesome. Um, yeah. So it's helping you if you want to, and oh, that's cool. Some adjustments if I wanted to make the carbs lower. Instead of you could do a smaller portion of rice. You could completely scrap the rice and do cauliflower rice. If you wanted to do that, that would really drop the calorie count and give you more veggies. But you can see some cool things like it will just ask it things. Ask it what you need it to help you with. So it gives you your approximate macros. So cool. This is just an overview of some things that you can do with MacroMay, how you can utilize her a little bit better. I love just talking straight into my phone and having her do tweaks in real time. Oh, I also love like if you're going out to eat, you can take a picture of the menu and you can say, what do you think is the best choice for me, utilizing protein and veggies? Or if it's chain restaurants, MacroMay can scour the internet and find some nutrition stuff to help you. So let's say you're going to Chipotle and, oh, I'll just pull it up on the screen so you can see before we end this. I'll just show you. real quick. Okay. I'm going to Chipotle. What is a good meal option for me to stay on track with my Mac? Uh, if you spell things wrong, they'll figure it out. Don't worry. Don't worry about it at all. This is why I talk to it. And so here is what she is saying the best order for me to kind of stay on track with is doing a bowl with double protein, cilantro, lime, rice. You can get double chicken or steak, fajita veggies, romaine, pico de gallo, cilantro, guac. You got to be careful with guac because that's going to be a big chunk of calories, but that would be her recommendation. And you could ask for some other modifications. Want to go leaner, swap out chicken, do this, do that. So when you go out somewhere, this is another way that you can get extra help with staying on track with your goals instead of panicking and making a decision that doesn't align with what you're working towards, which I know happens all the time. But you can also take pictures of things and upload it on your phone to, if you have the app on your phone, and then say, like, what do you think is the best option on this menu for me to eat? And it will analyze what you've put in there and it will show you and it can help you plan. But chain restaurants are easy because you can just ask. Like, one that is really hard for me to figure out what to eat at is IHOP. So let's ask it right now. What is a good I can't spell. Let's see what it says. And if you don't like the output, ask it for more options. A build your own omelet. Yeah, that seems reasonable. Very customized. I will tell you, IHOP's menu is very hard to find something healthy. I went out to eat there with Douglas and Tatiana the other day. And when I looked at the calorie count for my meal, I was like, well, what else am I going to be able to eat the rest of the day? Probably barely anything. But I got like steak tips and I got a high protein, but it was very calorie dense. So yeah, they're telling you to like do your own. Let's see what else. But she can scour the internet and find nutrition to help you. Yeah, your best bet with IHOP is to kind of pick and choose things that you like, not getting some of their main things. Protein pancakes. So yeah, you can see like the outputs that it gives you, and then that can help you simplify those quick decisions when you're going out to eat. So that was one other thing I wanted to make sure I noted before we close this up and stop the workshop. So let me stop sharing. All right. So thank you so much for being at this workshop. And if you're watching the recording, thank you so much for watching the recording. I hope some of this is going to help you in your planning. But number one, I said it a million times already, that personalized meal sheet is your go-to. So fill that out as detailed as you can and feed that to MacroMay. Copy and paste your answers in there. And periodically, as she gets better at knowing the things that you like, take the blank sheet of it, ask her to answer the questions based on everything you've talked about so far, and it will help update it for you and keep it updated with things directly tailored to your life, your family, your preferences, and it makes it just spit out better quality things for you. So, excited for hearing how she's helping you, how she's simplifying things for you, how she's helping you stay on track. And I can't wait to see you in any of our other workshops. All right.